What's going on, YPM family? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back with another episode for the Your Perspective Matters podcast, the personal growth podcast where we're focused on making each other uncomfortable, right? And in my transition, what I've been doing is God's been dealing with me, and He showed me that I had to become more vulnerable, and He showed me that I had to make myself uncomfortable. Because not only
Mhm.
if I do it for other people, but um, I got so distracted of you doing that. But nah, you good, you
I'm
good.
sorry.
Nah, you
Let
good.
me move back this way. That
Nah,
helps.
you. Wait, what the heck just happened? Did you just do that by yourself?
Yeah, it move. It's on the. It has like hooks, so it's like.
I was like, why did it move like that? That's lit. Like, okay. But anyways, yes, we are a personal growth podcast focused on uncomfortability. Why? Because uncomfortability breeds growth. On today, I have a very, very, very special guest. She's been on the podcast with a couple of my hosts before, but now we got a one-on-one going on, and
Mhm.
we're gonna get real because we have our talks, right? We have our deep conversations that need to be podcast episodes. To be honest, like we've spoken on like 100 episodes probably in the last couple of weeks. You feel me? Um,
Man.
but on today, honestly, I don't even know what we're gonna talk about. But right now in this moment, I want to just reiterate and reintroduce to my people, uh, Diamond. If you will, you can just share yourself, introduce yourself, what you got going on, and we're gonna go from there.
Okay. So hey everybody, I am Diamond. Founder and CEO of D Luxury Clean. That's DEELUXUREE. Um. What can I say, man? I just been focused. I have a birthday coming up, so I just been trying to prepare for that. Scorpio gang, gang.
Turn up.
So I just been trying to prepare for that. And yeah, making sure my business stays afloat. We've been doing really well, so all I can do is thank God for real. So that's really all I've been doing is thanking God, cause. But
That
that's
part.
really what's been going on for real.
Got you, got you. So, I want to start with my icebreaker. My last episode, I kind of went a little extra, but on today, I want to emphasize that because the reason for this icebreaker is to acknowledge celebration, and I feel like we don't celebrate
Mm,
ourselves enough, right? Either people
yeah,
aren't celebrating ourselves, well, people aren't celebrating us enough, or we are not
right,
acknowledging the things that need to be celebrated. So, my icebreaker
right.
question that I want to ask you is what is something that you conquered today? Or even what is something that you conquered in the week?
Um, let's see. Did I do anything today? As far as what I did today, I mean, I had a client today, but I have this client every Friday. They're actually a new client that I've been working with for, I want to say, going on 2 months now. And they have 11 rooms altogether. So I accomplish that every week, pretty much.
The whole house?
Um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's like every bedroom has a bathroom essentially, except for like one. So there's as many bedrooms as there are bathrooms, and
Wow.
you know, there's even a bathroom in the kitchen. So, so literally, like it's its own thing, right? It's not a shower like in the middle of the kitchen, but it's literally a bathroom like
Right.
station like towards the end of the kitchen. So there's that. This week though, I can say that I feel like each month I get in these like depression stages. I don't even want to call it seasonal because it's monthly. So I'll get like this
Mm,
monthly depression for like a week. And ladies, you know what I mean. So
right.
I've been just like getting my mindset from that because that was really last week's drama. Um, and this week I been acknowledging that I get into those spaces every month. And throughout that, I was just like, all right, cool. I know this is temporary. I know this is temporary. And feeling the after effects of last week, this week is
Mm,
like, can we move on? You know, like, can we get to, can we get to like the next thing? Like, let's do it. Let's move past it. We're in a new week now. So I think that I can definitely say, not I think, I know I can definitely say that I accomplished my mindset this week. I overcame my mental habits of dwelling for more than I need to by acknowledging the space that I'm in and doing things that I would normally do despite that when I'm not feeling that so that I can get back to being 100% of myself.
mm. I like that. I like that. Well, I let
Mm.
me be the first to acknowledge and celebrate you on that. Congratulations, Diamond, for overcoming that. Um,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
and you triggered a question. I didn't want to ask it yet, but I think I want to ask it now because I've known you for
Okay.
quite some time, and
Hmm.
I've seen it firsthand where you would go from being this super elite, happy ass person to boom. You know, you have those moments where you crying and everything, and then you're going
Yeah.
back to it, and to to be transparent,
In the same day,
right,
in the
literally,
same hour.
literally, like, yeah, I'm just like, what the? I'm like, did I do something wrong? What happened? I'm sorry. I apologize. But I so me, I've been there, right? Multiple times in my life
Mm,
where I'm not a crier, right? But internally, I feel like I cry when those moments happen, and it's a
mm-hmm.
struggle for me specifically because it's not a lot of people that I get to talk to, right? And I don't have my own therapist.
Right,
And I was just having this
right.
conversation, what was it, yesterday, that I'm not against therapy. I do agree that you need therapy and you need God, but for me, I've been my own therapist and I've allowed God to be my ultimate therapist over therapist, right? Um, but my
Mm-hmm.
question to you, because I know it's challenging as an entrepreneur to be able to what they say, balance, right? I don't believe in balance. I believe that you need to have some sort of rhythm going on, right? Because you're gonna be happy, you're
Mm.
gonna be sad, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be happy. So, um, for you, what does that look like when you are trying to transition from that depression stage back to trying to conquer? Or conquering or being at a level where you're functional and operable? Like, what does that look like for you?
Okay. Um, I want to say there's like three or four things that I want
Okay.
to touch on in that category. First of all, self therapy is a very real thing. I've been to therapy in a depression stage in my life that wasn't like a month to month basis, but I was like in that depression for months at a time. Like not 4 months, but 4 months. Like I don't know how many months it was.
Mm,
And I did end up going to therapy, and I chose very wisely. I wanted to pick according to my situation. After a while and not being able to afford it anymore because it was just my lifestyle wasn't there at that point again. But instead of letting that deter me away from what I was learning, I continued to use those practices in my everyday life and bring it along my self therapy journey, which looks like journaling, which is something that I do throughout this time. And I have a journal where I'll title it My Thoughts
Mm.
or My Thought Process or just Thought Process. Um, and then I date it. What I love about my journal is it actually has scriptures at the bottom of it from the Bible, but more so reference. Like it'll majority of them will say like one line and tell you like where it's from. And then after you go on to a certain section of pages, it'll change. I love that a lot. And I love that in this season, at the bottom of my journal, right, where it has those references, it aligns with what I wrote.
Mm.
And I always see that. I always see that alignment. I can't give you an example right now because my journal ain't in my hand right now. But yeah, that helps me a lot. And it's not that I even journal every day. I feel like people try to make it a thing where it's like you have to journal every day. You have to. And it's like,
Right.
no, like allow things to come on your time. And I would recommend to journal when you feel like you have so much to talk about and nobody to say it to. Like you were mentioning, like write it down. When you want to
Yeah.
cry, but you don't want nobody to see you cry, God sees you crying already. Write
Mm.
it down. Say a prayer. And those are I'm a prayer warrior. Like, I don't care if I'm happy, sad, mad, I'm praying and
Mm.
I'm journaling. Like, any overwhelming feeling, it can be good or bad. I'm going to journal and I'm going to pray about it. And after I journal, I'm going to pray over it. Like,
Mm.
that's what I do. Sometimes that looks like isolation for me as well. Um, I'm very focused on myself and catering to me. I normally get irritated during that time if people actually try to reach out. Or there's always a lot of people that be like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And it's like, I'm not even posting nothing. I'm not saying nothing, but everybody's asking me, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And I'm like, "How do you know these things?" Like, we just like, please, you're making it worse by asking me. I'm not trying to tell
Right.
nobody nothing. Like, I'm just trying to get through it. So yeah, sometimes that looks like isolation for me. And just catering to my needs. So whether that's a bubble bath, having a self care day, taking a bubble bath, washing my hair, facial, like trying new facial things, ordering some food I'm probably not supposed to be eating, but it's okay because I don't do it regularly, so I'm gonna do it while I'm sad.
That part.
Watching a good show and really just laying in my bed. Like sometimes I feel like my body is just telling me that you need to rest. Like you're not even depressed, you're just tired. And during this time of the month, you're a little more exhausted and bloated than usual. Rest.
Okay.
It's okay, you know. Um, but I've also noticed that during this time, I need people. And
Mm.
I'm grateful for the people that do reach out to me, despite me not posting or saying anything, because that's them letting me know that we see you and your
Mm.
absence is evident. So I'm going to check on you and make sure that you're okay. And then I always have people that I talk to, like you, or like an old friend that I have that's like very, I've been very transparent with in my life. So community is a really, really, really big thing. And you never know who's a part of yours until you are absent.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what it's like for me.
Wait, wait,
Those
say
are some
it again.
things
You
that I
you
do.
you never know. Wait, hold on. Wait, that was that just wait, hold on. You can't do that. You can't do that on my podcast. Wait, hold on. Can you say that one more time? You never know. Wait, repeat that.
Community is important, and you
Uh,
never know who's a part of yours until you are absent.
until you. Oh my God. Why would you do this? Like I was not prepared for this.
They just, when we be speaking, they just be
Yo,
rolling. Like, we're not gonna
wow.
act brand new for the podcast,
That
okay?
part.
But yeah,
No, that's real. Especially dang, I was not gonna go here, but especially now, right? Because I had a very interesting conversation with one of my passengers, and we were talking about how important it is to isolate, right? But
Yeah.
oftentimes we confuse isolation with times where we need to be around the community. Hey, I don't want to deal with my issues, so but the
Yeah.
people that you are, oh man, wait, I'm trying to keep that in my thoughts because you really, you, you threw me for a whole loop just now. That is so, you have no idea. That is so good. You never know your community until you basically, until you're not in it, right? That's how you said it? Because,
Until you're
wow.
absent. Yeah.
Wow. Until you're absent. There we go. But it's that's important now because where we are trying to go, right? Everybody wants to do entrepreneurship, everybody wants to be successful, everybody wants to move forward, but nobody is focusing on building the right circles.
Hmm.
So I had another conversation with one of my clients, and we were talking about I was basically telling them, hey, if you really want to grow, or not even if you really want to grow, but how I became where I was is I realized two things, right? I realized number one
Hmm.
that you have to well, I'm not having a brain fart. You have to gain the information, right? And in order to gain the
Hmm.
information, you change your circle. But the problem with most people,
Hmm.
right, is that we are making our circles smaller instead of what's the word? Instead of eliminating what's not for you, right? Eliminating the people that's not adding in your life and
Yeah.
learn to add people that do add. Like it's two things. You gotta circumcise yourself and then you gotta learn how to add on the meaty part, and we don't add on the meaty part.
Yeah.
So
Right.
how has your circle or your community has changed, or how is it now? How does it look like now? Because I know it's definitely changed.
I love this question. Oh my gosh. I love this question so much because there's been a lot surrounding um yeah, I had a brain fart too. There's been there's been a lot surrounding the talk of like circles and community. Um and one thing that I noticed at the beginning of this year was that I wanted a different circle.
Mm,
Um I was surrounded by people who'd rather be the entertainers of this generation
mm,
instead of the people who can afford to pay them. And the mentality that I have is I'd rather be the person paying the entertainer to stand on the couches of my club than to be the person standing on the couches of the club. Because if I can afford to pay somebody 60K just to be there pouring bottles down somebody's throat and going, and I can afford that every week
right.
or every month. Imagine accumulation that is of a year. If I can afford to pay somebody 60K, how for a night, how much money did I actually bring in that night,
Right.
that week, that month, that year? You
That's
know?
true.
So when I realized that, I'm like, nah, I gotta change my circle. I need to be
Yeah.
surrounded by people who are thinking that much bigger,
Right.
like literally. Um, and I did. I don't have the same friends that I had this year. That I actually just have less friends, like
Right.
overall. Last year I had this big group of friends, and it was surrounded by three of us who we just had variety of different groups
Mm,
that we could go to. I no longer talk to those two females, and I disassociated myself from, I want to say, two of those groups within that. Because only one of those groups are faith focused, success focused, you know, like they just have a laser sharp vision to the point that we probably don't talk every day, but we don't have to. We used to talk every day and be on FaceTime every day in that group. But I would have my separate conversations with them, and I'm like, y'all make me think more. Y'all make me think bigger instead of keeping me level headed and just talking about what the shade room is posting or who had a baby here and who cheated on them there. And it's like I don't care about that. I don't even
Yeah.
follow that.
Right.
Um
Yeah.
so when it comes to community, I changed. I changed it up. I changed the course of my entire year, and I've had a better year this year than I had last year for sure.
Mm.
Um, I went to business events. I went to Invest Fest, and I met more people, different people who put me in a different mindset and caliber. Like, I'm here, but I want to be there. And it's not like I want to be in their image, but I want to take everything that I was able to absorb that fits me in what I'm doing and leave whatever doesn't and just elevate. And I came back and my business is making more than it was in August when I actually went. So
Mm.
I do love that aspect. I've joined two groups, one being the Rich Black Girlies. I know y'all see them on TikTok and everything like that, and I've been following them for a while. I followed them on Instagram. I was able to join the community that they have on Telegram, and I woke up the other day and I haven't had this many good morning messages since we was in the academy. Okay, so I woke up to good morning messages. I woke up to prayers. I woke up to people just celebrating, and this is all women.
Mm.
And I actually have had a bad, I don't want to say the word reputation. I just haven't had the best experiences when it comes to female relationships. So
Mm.
being in a group of women who are all successors in different parts of the world who are just here to help elevate the next person
Right.
and build that community has been beautiful. And I've only been in there for 2 days. The next group that I joined, shout out to Dope Affiliates. Shout out to Tutu. I love her so much. I joined that actually a couple months ago, and it revolves around the same thing. A community of women. It's a lot of black women, especially, and I love that so much. A community of women who are entrepreneurs, who are in different parts of the world, whether it's ATL, New York, you know, it doesn't really matter. And we come together, especially every Tuesdays, we come together, we have a conversation, and she checks on our wellness and our well-being. Or she'll have someone outside of what we do who has a different business, different venture, a different woman, different ethnicity, it don't matter, from somewhere around the world who's just doing it. And
Right.
they come and they speak to us about what they do. We've had a yoga specialist. We did yoga 7:30 at night on Zoom. It's a group of black women just doing yoga. Like it was just, but I love that. And she taught us the importance of, you know, wellness and keeping up with your body, especially as an
Right.
entrepreneur. We've seen a lot of dope women do a lot of dope things. And then she also hosts these events every few months, whether it's in Atlanta, whether it's in New York. She shakes hands and rub elbows with a lot of well-known influencers of this generation, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. Um,
So.
Piggybacking off of that, one of the conversations that we had was because she likes to, you know, she likes to tickle our brains a little bit.
Mm.
She asked us to draw up what it looks like in your circle right now. Like, draw your table, draw you, and draw everybody at your table.
Mm.
I drew me and God. Like that was it.
Right.
Those are the only two people at my table. And it's not because, oh my gosh, I hate people and nobody deserves to sit with me because I'm also, no. It's
Mm.
really because your circle is going to change rapidly. Whether it's a day to day basis, monthly basis, yearly basis. I just told you my story, you know? So a lot of the people that were at my table last year aren't here this year. But I'm okay with that because who's supposed to be there is there.
Right.
And his spot is never changing. That's the main
Right.
person I have conversations with. That's the person I can tell anything in my journal. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So everybody else is gonna come and go. You know, I can switch tables, I can switch conversations, but
People gonna
that's
change.
where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that.
And this is a brand new table. I'm not even sitting at the same table. I got up from that table and left
Wow.
everybody over at that table. And I made a new table. And it's fitting for just me and God. It's only 2 chairs.
Mm.
That's it.
That
Literally.
is,
So.
you getting deep. You getting deep, girl. Wow. That is, so many thoughts are going in my head right now as you said that. But I think I want to go to my next um segment really quickly, right? The next segment, which I'm pretty sure you are aware of this, is, do I have your permission to make you uncomfortable?
uh, Here we go. No, I'm playing. Nah, yeah. Yeah, you do. For sure.
um, so so hey, I want to ask this, right? Because I felt
Hmm.
that, right? Because your table changes. You can join
Yeah.
other people's tables or you can create your own, right? But
Hmm.
um God does not change, right? Which is so powerful. Let me hold on. My phone about to die. Hold on.
Don't
Jesus
do
Christ.
that.
All right, we good, we
And I
good. All
said person. Person meaning me.
right,
Being mean being God. Like
yes.
only two at the table. Yeah. I
So
had to change that.
so with that, I mean you don't gotta fully name no specific names or whatever, but like for me, like for an example, okay, my table has stayed the same, which is very so. Maybe your tables had, maybe you have, switched different tables. For me, my table has stayed the same, but there's a lot of people that's no longer there,
Hmm.
and it's not even the people that I expected to leave that's not there. It's the people
Right.
that I expected to be there and that I wanted to help and create for, and they're no longer at the table.
Hmm.
So like
Be like that.
it do. So like how, like, and this is only if you, I mean, we gonna be uncomfortable, but if you don't want to, fully give the scenario, you
I
don't
mean, you
have
done
to.
asked. You done asked. I
but
mean, it's
but
all
like
right.
how how has you being at your tables, um and the people changing, affected you and your outlook on where you're trying to go, if that makes sense.
That's a good that's a good question because I was actually thinking about that. And if I answer incorrectly, like in the incorrect manner, than you wanted it to be, let me know. Um, how has it affected me, you said?
How has how has being at your tables, right? Because you've been at multiple tables or you're changing tables. How has the
Hmm.
switch,
Hmm.
or how has the people that's no longer there at those tables, even though right now is you and God. Okay, so let me switch it up, right?
Before the tables before.
Right. So how has the tables
Hmm.
before where it had people? How has that transition and how has it affected you where now you are just at the table with you and God? Walk us through that
Um.
scenario and that transition.
Okay. So for me, I had something that I wanted to lead with, but if it comes to me at the end, then I'll give it to you at the end. But my tables has only changed once.
Okay.
Before, I kept actually, I'm lying. I'm lying. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm lying. I have changed my tables a few times throughout my life because I used to try to fit into tables that I did not belong in, that had no room for me. And it's crazy. Oh my goodness. It's so crazy that I said that just now because a feeling came back to me. It's something that I used to say when I was in middle school in my friend group. Oh my gosh, it's so on my heart right now. I used to say that I feel like I'm here, but I'm not. Like I'm here within this friend group, but it's like I'm like leaning to the side. Like that's how I always pictured it. Like I'm like leaning to the side. Like I'm in, but I'm not in. And not because I didn't want to fully be in, but because I was never fully accepted in that group. Like I always felt like a cliffhanger. Like it's just yeah, like literally that. Like I never felt like I was fully in it, and I felt like that in most of my friendships, especially dealing with females, and I didn't know what it was. And for a while, I'm like, it gotta be me because I'm the only common denominator. I'm the only one not still in that group. And after a while, I took that and I changed it. Because while it is me, it is indeed me, but it's not me for a negative reason. It's not me because I did something wrong. It was me because I was forcing myself into a space that I know I didn't belong in, but I wanted to belong so bad.
Right.
So I've had a few different tables that I've been at where it's been a crowd of people, where it's probably only been one person, where it's been two people, whatever the case may be. And when I got to that last table, I had to realize, and I realized this a couple tables ago, but I was jumping. I was just trying to be a part of something still. Even if it didn't look nothing like the last table I've been at. Literally, because I've been at friendship tables, business tables, mixing friendship and business on the same table. Like, I've been everywhere. And what I realized within that last table is I am still trying to fit myself and insert myself into a place that I'm not in. I want to be God's girl. I want to be his favorite. I want to feel it. I want to hear his voice. I want to be focused on my business so much that when people ask what started it all, I can say this very business that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And my mindset, the things that I have, you can't see it right now, but the things that I have written on these sticky notes over here, the things that I have written on this board right behind me does not align with the table that I was sitting at.
Oh.
So instead of trying to change the people who are now sitting at this table or force feed myself into a table that I did not fit in, looking like a square trying to fit into a triangle, I was like, let's just change the table. Let's create our own table. And now place, just get up. Like, place the people who belong at this table at this table.
Yeah.
Like, literally. Like, girl, get up. What Sarah Jake said, get
I was thinking that.
I literally had to get up. And when I sat down, God was already there.
Yeah.
He was waiting for me. So really, this probably still isn't even my table. This is God's table. And I'm allowing who he places at this table to sit at this table, instead of force feeding people into this table just because they look good, or they compliment me, or they smile nice, or they're accepting me, because I don't need anybody's acceptance. He's already accepted me, you know? So now, me and him are making the table. We're making that conscious decision, and I'm not making it without him this time. So Yeah, that's what that looks like for me. We got a whole list of plans, goals. We got a whole journey mapped around this. This ain't no regular table, baby. Okay, this ain't no regular table. You ever see those big construction projects
Hmm.
and they have it like on a table, like it takes up the. That's what this table looks like.
I
This is a
like
whole
that.
different table.
I like that.
So
That is that is dope. It's so interesting that you say that you're no longer picking the people at the table. You're allowing who God strategically places. And it's so crazy because like I'm like with me, I've never been a person to pick people. Um but like
mm,
even more now, I'm literally allowing God to do exactly that, right? Be able to like
yeah,
I ask God, which I've never asked in my entire life, but I'm like, God, whoever you are designing to be around me, I want that. I don't
you
want.
just reminded me of what I forgot to say, but I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
say it
Go ahead. Go ahead.
after.
Go ahead.
I just left just that quick. Um. Oh. When I am indecisive about what, when I was indecisive about the tables that I was at, or even when it's like loads of people just come into my life at once, and then they'll unload themselves and drastically leave at once too.
Literally.
Anytime that I feel like I'm in that moment when people are coming and going in my life,
Hmm.
I will literally pray to God and I will say, I pray that He removes anyone from my life that no longer serves me, that no longer belongs on this journey with me.
Hmm.
And vice versa, I also pray that He removes me from anybody's life that I no longer serve.
That part.
Because this is a two-way street.
Hmm.
Because I could also be keeping somebody from something, distracting somebody from something. Like, just because you feel like you're so anointed and you're so great and you're God's favorite doesn't mean that you belong in everybody's life.
Mm.
Or at least not in that timeline that you are right now. Maybe you got to come back. Maybe you were meant to leave for a little bit and then, let
Right.
them do what they have to do
Hmm.
and then, you know. So I'm learning patience because, there'll be some people I'll be like, but him though, like I thought it was something. Nah. Okay, all right. So I make sure that prayer goes both ways
Yeah.
because I know I'm not everybody's piece. I know that part. So
There you go.
yeah.
And it's good that way. Like I wanna. Dang. This is probably the first time I'm gonna say this, but and I
Mm-hmm.
think men, speaking from, I know women do for sure, but I know men secretly, they might not be open about this, but we want to feel desired, right? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why get into? I heard what's his name? David and Monetier say something so powerful. He said, um, get into rooms and spaces where you are celebrated and not tolerated. Like when you have those people that are actually want to be there and is actually rooting for you, it hits different. Like just give me three of those people, I promise you I'm conquering the world. Literally.
Literally,
Literally. Like
literally.
that is that is I think that's the power of community and that's the power of you got to release the control of wanting certain people in your life when it could just be the characteristics of that person and not the person that needs to be in your life. And that's the reason why God's plan is final. That's the reason why God's plan is perfect because a lot of what God does for us, or a lot of what He wants for us, has no name to it. It doesn't have a face
Mhm.
to it. It's just boom. Like, it's so crazy because I was saying this. I had a conversation the other day, and I was telling them that, like, with some of us, we can be blessed to have parents where
Mhm.
the relationship is mendable, right?
Mhm.
But, and I had to submit to this, where you got to realize that there's some people that's not going to return, meaning that
Right.
the relationship is not mendable, but you still need
Yeah.
the mother or the father in your life. So, and I was telling the other person the other day that the importance is to have mother like and father like people. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to just be your. Yes, we want it to be, but unfortunately, because they're strung out on this, or because they're doing this, or because they just don't want no parts of you, you have to be able to get in the faces and in the rooms where you are celebrated and not
Mm.
tolerated. Felt the Holy Ghost on that
I
one.
wish I had a tambourine. I wish I had a tambourine. I would be.
That is
No,
hilarious.
seriously, I felt that so much because you know my story.
Yes,
And even a few weeks ago, we got deeper into my story
we
and
did.
what those figures actually look like in my life. And I literally had to seek the figures that I have in my life.
Hmm.
It was never like, oh, you were born with this, you have this. And God bless
Right.
the people who were, because you don't know how easy you have it. And it's crazy because the people who have it never even realize it until it's too
Facts.
late.
Oh, that's so
And then
good.
the people that don't have it never realize what they don't really have.
Mm.
You know, all they know is what they have. All they know
Right.
is what they were born into. And it's like, damn, like I can't. You couldn't did this, that, and the third. And it's like that wasn't what was supposed to happen, because if you were born with it
Mm-hmm.
and you have a certain like position that you have a certain role that God wants you to play. If
Mm-hmm.
He allowed you to be born into that family where you had it all,
Mm-hmm.
you would just miss it. You would miss the mission, literally.
Jeez.
So I had to take everything that I've been through and I had to replace it, literally. Not that I'm trying to put anybody in my mother's place or that I'm trying to put anybody in my
Right.
father's place, but I have people who took that position on their own
Right.
and allowed me to know what that felt like after so many years of feeling like I raised myself.
Jeez.
Um, the ultimate position of parenting, though, I gave it to God. Because what do we look to parents for? Guidance,
Yes.
protection,
Yes.
love,
Yes.
teachable moments. And God has been that every step of the way.
Mm.
Every step of the way. And
Every step.
every morning when I wake up and I pray for guidance. I pray for protection. I pray for peace. I pray for anybody who's come into my life so suddenly, and either they're going through something or I don't even know what they're going through, but I just feel it. I put them in my prayers
Mm.
because I realize that there's some people who also need that guidance
Mm-hmm.
that I've been just so grateful to be able to even absorb and walk into.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even know at this point in their life that they need that.
Jeez.
And when I get to know people, I get to know them and understand, okay, what kind of life are they leading? And I can pick up on people's patterns. Like, that's one thing that I can say that God's taught me this year,
Mm.
because I'm so used to allowing people to enter my life and I don't even really pay attention to what they're about. I'm just paying attention to how they make me feel. But as of recently, I started paying attention to their patterns. Yes, how you make me feel. Yes, how you speak to me. But how do you speak about yourself? How do you speak about your life?
Mm.
Is that something that has only happened once, or do you continuously get into these moments where that happens? You
Mm.
know, um, are you doing a facade? And I can normally pinpoint when people are on that facade spectrum, and I'm like, something's not adding up. You know, and I talk to God about everybody that I meet, about everybody that I talk to, and sometimes he'd be like, and I'd be like, but he'd be like, and everybody that I try to give that pass to, that he said, he showed me why I wasn't, like, like literally. Um,
That's
so
funny.
yeah,
I
I'm
like
big on
that.
energy. I'm big on patterns, but yeah, yeah.
So we have one more segment that's probably going to get really deep because it's three questions. But before
Oh,
I,
I'm about to cry.
you might want to just get your tissue right now. I'm weak. Um,
You wasn't gonna get me today, okay?
but before we get to our last segment, right? Our last segment is called personal growth. The personal growth segment. But before we get there, because I've been dying to ask this question, or I've been dying to, I really want, I believe I know some of it, but I want others
Mm.
to hear this, right? Tell us about the
Mm.
words on your board and your sticky notes.
Oh my God. Okay.
Go
Okay, so
ahead,
we'll
girl.
start with the board, being that it's right here. I hit this part because this is fourth quarter goals. I ain't want y'all to be out here piggybacking.
Yes.
It says October up here, but I gotta change it, but I can't see that, so it's okay. I have a list of my daily habits to develop because clearly you don't just wake up and do them. Like that's
Right.
just like you do, but then you're always gonna have your days where you fall off and you get back. So daily habits to develop. Pray AM and PM because sometimes I was just doing the morning. I realized that listen, can you be grateful for coming home and laying in your bed, please?
Mm,
Um, Stretch for a minimum 10 minutes in the morning and the night. Um, Shower, skincare, AM, PM. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. After a long day, I have to remind myself, you still got to take care of this skin. Like it ain't
right.
tomorrow's problem. Like we gonna do
Right.
it today. So that's just transparency. Starting in the day with water because I will drink water once a day and feel like I did something. And no, it don't be that. Read
Right.
for 30 minutes to an hour. Listen, I listened to my Audible today for like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Mm,
Majority of my work today. So
okay.
we set. Study trading for an hour minimum.
Ooh.
And then lastly, when you look better, you feel better.
Dang.
Um, on this side over here, because I would want y'all to see it. Daily quotes and affirmation. I could have just moved this instead of, whatever. What you want wants you. What you want wants you more, and what's for you will always be.
Mm.
That's like a new motto that I live by, like literally. And then, lastly, we have the Philippians 4:6 through 7, because I had a brain fart. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus.
You better go ahead,
Um,
scripture.
I heard Sarah Jake said that, and something in me just wanted to write it down so bad because she always knows what to say when I need to hear it. And one of my biggest battles in life is anxiety and overthinking. And for the longest time, I'm still getting into the habit of asking God for the big things. I
Mm.
always small play myself as if he's not big enough to give me what I asked for.
Jeez.
Um, so yeah, there's that. Taking out over here, these are my
Ooh.
sticky notes that he's outing me on. Um, to have them listed, I'll read the ones that have actually came to fruition.
Okay.
Um, I am the epitome of self-love. I grew up not having a lot of self-love because I didn't feel like I had a lot of outward love. And that outward love, you don't even really know what love is or what it feels like until it's given to you. So how could I give myself something that I don't know and I don't understand?
Right.
So being that I didn't know and I didn't understand, I just accepted what was given to me, but I poured that into myself too. Like, people will say, oh, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. No, baby, words hurt me, okay? Real bad. So the same words that people were giving to me, I started to give them to myself because I believed that. Until I learned what self-worth looks like, what self-love
Right.
looks like, what I started seeking that. Like, this can't be it, because I see people living happy-go-lucky. How do I get to happy-go-lucky? And a lot of people will tell you, oh, don't look for relationships, don't look for love in other people, look for self-love. And I'm like, I don't want self-love. I want to be loved by him. Give me TJ over there from down the block. Give me Boogie. Like, I need them, I
Boogie.
need them to love me. I need them to love me. But then what I came to know is love yourself the way God loves you.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that looked like either until I read the Bible. And I was like, all right, okay, all right, cool. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror for the very first time, just like analyzing every detail on my face as I would do to somebody else who I so fully loved.
Right.
I stared into the mirror and I told myself, I love you. You are beautiful. I am proud of you. And I started shedding tears, like literally bawling, because I'd never done that to myself before. And now it's something that I continuously do. I habitually do. Anytime I look in the mirror and I feel like I'm about to mention something that looks like an imperfection, I just tell myself I'm beautiful and tell myself that I love myself. And self-healing, self-therapy revolves around that looking better, feeling better. So whatever imperfection that I'm looking at, instead of bashing myself for it or talking down on myself for it, I'm gonna correct it, but I'm still praise me regardless, because I still got to go outside with this imperfection on my face. And I'd rather not walk around being insecure about this imperfection when most people don't even see that. Only you see it because it's on your face. Like, and you stared so deeply at yourself. Everybody's quick pass in a hurry. Nobody's staring at your face the way you stare at your face, so they don't even notice what you notice. So that was a big one for me. I am asked to speak at multiple events. I am actually a sponsor for a networking event that happens on a monthly basis. So I get to speak every month if I want to, or if I'm there and someone else doesn't show up, I'm grateful enough to be a stand-in to just give some words of wisdom, um, to be on this podcast. You know, I've been on a couple other podcasts. I've been a co-host on a podcast. So I wrote these like probably 4 years ago, and I'm literally watching them increase and happen in my life. And it's not even like I read them on a daily basis, but they're there for a reason. And I love doing stuff like that. It's like creating a mood board or affirmations board or whatever. But yeah, it's a lot more, but I talk a lot, so we just probably
No, we love that. We love the talk. Yeah, that's yo. Let me tell you, it's only because of the sake of time that I gotta move on. But I really want to go there. But
I know.
we gonna move on. We're gonna add that to
It's
another
alright, part
episode.
two.
We're gonna part two
Part two.
coming. Part two coming, right? So the last, excuse me, the last segment. What's your perspective? Your personal growth. The first question is, what's your perspective on personal growth?
um, okay. My perspective on personal growth. You have to want it.
Mm,
You have to want it. I know it's easier said than done because a lot of people go through life and they face their challenges, and some people don't even know what personal growth is or what that has looked like in their life, even
Right.
though they've physically grown, they've mentally grown, because that's just what you do in life. You don't stay the same. You go to school, you change your clothes, you change your hair. Like, that's growth on an internal, well, not even on an external level. But you have to want internal growth in that area.
Right.
And some people will say, like, you got to be tired of being tired
Mm.
for that to happen. Until you're tired of who you currently are
Mm.
and where you've just been planted or feel like you're stuck at, you will never move.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. I like that. That's some good. Oh, I feel a little feel that.
I feel a
So
little.
so now we're gonna get a little bit more uncomfortable, right?
Okay.
The second part of the question is, what about you needs to grow?
My hair, no, I'm playing. Uh, my hair's actually grown a lot, and I just trimmed it actually. But what part of me needs to grow? Um, my habits need to grow.
What habits?
I need to outgrow the old ones and grow the ones that I'm implicating more.
Okay.
Um, that looks like reading my Bible more. That looks like staying consistent with my daily habits to develop.
Right.
Um, I read those out to y'all, so I won't repeat it. But yeah, like that's, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I feel like there's something else, and it's just not coming to me.
I
Say
see
the
it.
question again.
I
Say the
see it on
question
your
again.
forehead. It's right there on your forehead. It's there. The question is, what about you needs to grow?
Okay, definitely my habits. Um, my consistency. That goes back into my habits, but I realized a long time ago that me and consistency be tussling. Okay, I will think of something, I will start to do something, I will procrastinate on that something, I will come back to it, and it's like I want that consistency to look like more often instead of
Mm.
like less often. Because you could be consistent at doing something in periods of time, but I want it to be a period of time that lasts longer than 2 days or a week, and then I come back to it a month from now, Like, I want
Right.
it to be a full month, a full 30 days,
Okay.
because that's how you build a habit in the first place, anywhere
Right.
between 28 to 30 days. So, definitely consistency, and it correlates with my habits. I feel like everything will come back to habits. So, I need to grow in creating decently structured, consistent habits.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So my third question, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna close it out, is there's somebody out there that's facing the same things that you need to grow in, right? Which is consistency, but like you said, it revolves back to habits. So what
Mm-hmm.
would be
Mm-hmm.
some steps that you would give them to help them gain consistency and develop great constructive habits?
Figure out what you want to do, um, and where it's leaning towards, because you can build habits, but if they have nothing to do with what you're working towards, then that was a waste of time.
Mm.
So figure out what you want to do and write it down. that may not be one thing, that may be multiple things. And we've had this conversation before too, where a couple years ago, before I actually started my business, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do real estate. I wanted to do Airbnb, you know, but there's something called money that we need.
Right.
So what everybody should do is develop hustle. The way I define hustle, and we said this earlier, the way I the way I define hustle is you monetize your skill to fund your passion. So on the side of what you want to do, write down a list of things that you're actually good at that can make you money, whether it could be something that you've been doing, you know, already for a while, or I wouldn't say something that you're just trying to take up because it's going to take time. And that'll be on the list of things that you want to do. But take your actual skills,
Right.
turn them into money,
Yeah.
and monetize the things that you actually want to do. Owning a cleaning business was never something that I saw myself doing, but God prepared me for it before I even knew that I've been cleaning for going on 7 years. And I've had my business for a year and a half. So there's something very powerful in that. And although I became passionate while doing it, it wasn't my original passion.
Right.
But even then, so I'm accumulating the income that I need to now fund the things that I actually want to do, the lifestyle that I actually want to live. And I'm that much closer because of it. Next, write out a plan. Nothing happens without a plan.
Right.
Like, we already know. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Like, period.
Right.
Write out what you want to do. Write out the skill sets that you have to fund what you want to do. Make a plan, set it out. And these are things that I have actually done. I'm not just talking out, you know, the rear. Pray over that. Have conversations with God about it. Pray over it after you write it immediately. If you don't pray over your plan, that is not a plan that you're in with God. All of your plans should include God, no matter what.
Right.
Even if you feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't get this from God. I didn't hear this from God. The fact that you thought about it could literally be from God. Like, that's it. So pray over it. Continuously pray over it as you're working on it, but actually work on it. Like, don't let it be something that just sits here. Don't let it just be a prayer. Don't let it just be a plan. Don't let it just be a thought. Make it an action. Make it repetitive. And go get what you want. Period.
Go ahead now. Go get what you want. Period. I like that. I like that. Wow. Wow. That I loved all of that. That. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, we're about to close, but um, that's one of my kryptonites as well. And it's so crazy because I had to revamp my book that I created, and it's called When a Habit, and it's about the whole idea is being able to create those habits. And I'm so big now on watching what is it that I do consistently.
Yeah.
Because the things that you do consistently will be the habit that you have.
Yep.
So if I am okay with drinking consistently every Friday, that is a habit that I can't break because now I'm doing it habitually. I'm doing it without
Yeah.
even thinking, you know. So I felt that because that's definitely something that is even still many times still till today a challenge, but definitely conquering it. But I definitely felt that 100%. I love that.
Thank you.
So we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna ask you for two things. Number one is I want you to tell them where they could find you, right? Where they can connect with you, your businesses, websites, all that good stuff. Anything else
Okay.
that you got extra that's going on that maybe they need to look out for. And then the last
Okay.
thing is going to be leave them with a final word of wisdom or quote that you want to give them. in that order.
Okay. For sure. For sure. So, again, my name is Diamond, just in case I forgot. Um, you can find me on Instagram at the Diamond W. So THEE Diamond W. My business page is D Luxury Clean. So DEELUXUREE clean. My website is the same, just add a .com and you're good to go. Um, my TikTok is also everything has the same name. As far as my business page goes and my business website, it has the same name. As far as my personal Instagram and my personal TikTok, it has the same name. Something that you should definitely be on the look out for. I know it's right around the corner, but November 18th, speaking about sponsoring networking events, if you are a business owner or entrepreneur, aspiring business owner, entrepreneur, you should definitely be there November 18th, especially if you're located in Brooklyn or New York, period. Um, so yeah, you can definitely find out more information through my personal page or through my business page on Instagram.
There we go.
Closing quotes. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Don't dream your life, live your dream.
Dang, that's how you gonna hit me? So soft and subtle like that? That's it. That's it. I feel like the inside of you just screaming that you want to talk more, but we gonna we
That's
gonna
actually a
let.
tattoo that I want. It's a real life like that.
Okay,
I've been living by that quote for so long, and anything that aligns with it, I just stick to it because
yeah,
it puts me in that. So
okay,
whatever that means to you.
there it is. I like that. I like it. Well, we can't close it out no better than that. Diamond, I appreciate you for stopping by once again. This is definitely not your last time gonna be on here. We're gonna have a lot more
Nah, we need a part
conversations.
two.
We need a part
We need a part
17.
two.
We need part 25. We need them all. But family, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. If it's on YouTube, thank you for listening. If it's on all the other platforms, to the Your Perspective Matters podcast, where we focus on personal growth. Why? Because uncomfortability breeds growth. Family, if you have not tapped in, I need you to subscribe on the YouTube. Type in YPM Pod, right? YPM space pod for YouTube. Everything else, including the Instagram, is going to be Your Perspective Matters. Family, I see you on the next episode because your perspective matters. Let's get it.
Thank you guys.